Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia here, and welcome back to the Overwatch Legal Roundup Win Conditions Los Angeles Gladiators Edition. Okay, so we're getting into the nitty-gritty of teams that are fighting it out for the last playoff places, and we are now upon the team that has the most difficult stage schedule in my opinion. The Gladiators are not going to have it easy. They are not going to have it easy. So they are currently on a 13-8 record, one win behind the Hangzhou Spark. Gladiators are in 5th. They've got basically no hope of winning the Pacific Division, so forget about that bye. But they are still mathematically in it, but I don't see it happening. They are not realistically going to catch Shurk, Excelsior or Titans, but they could catch the Spark, but it would be one hell of a stage if the Gladiators did. What they need to try and do is keep their heads above water, because we look at their fixtures and it's not easy. So, in the first week they will play the New York Excelsior and the Houston Outlaws. Now the Houston Outlaws are on a heck of a run right now. They are outside the play-ins, but not by much. And the run the Outlaws are on, they could cause an upset there. Excelsior, we all know about New York, we know how good they are, and you'd have to make New York favourites for that match. So you're already looking at one loss on the board for the Gladiators, which gives the opportunity of the teams below them, Seoul, London, Shanghai and Philadelphia, to close the gap and level on match wins with them. You look at their week 2, they play the Chengdu Hunters. Okay, they should be able to get past them, but then they have to play the San Francisco Shock. That is ridiculously difficult. You've got to play Excelsior in the first week and Shock in the second week. You'd have to expect Shock would have to be favourites for that one, and therefore you're looking at the Gladiators dropping 2 games this stage. This would then, providing the other teams pick up the wins, put the Gladiators outside the playoffs. Oh dear. Oh dear. This is not good for the Gladiators. The fixture schedule really has cut them quite badly. But again, the Gladiators are quite capable of picking up wins against Excelsior and Shock. It depends if we see the Gladiators that are at the very best they can be. And they can throw some weird comps out there as well. Week 3, they'd have to play the Dallas Fuel. Again, it's not going to be an easy match, but Dallas Fuel, they're not looking brilliant right now, and they're the team with the big red warning lights. You're thinking, oh my god, they're not on a good run of form. They need to change things, otherwise they're not going to make it to the play-ins. So Dallas Fuel could be an easier game for the Gladiators, depending on what the Fuel do between stages. Week 4, again it gets tough for the Gladiators. They have to face the Hangzhou Spark. Hangzhou Spark are in 4th right now and looking on a rich vein of form. Gladiators could get a win over Spark, but it's not looking favourable for them. Spark have to be made favourites for this one, and then you're looking at a stage where they've got 3 losses on the board. Oh boy. It's looking difficult for the Gladiators right now. But again, this could all change, because a 2-2 roll lock, that could really change things for these teams. And then you go into the Kit Kat rivalry weekend where we have the LA Derby. And Valiant are looking really good right now. They're in the Stage 3 playoffs. And they're looking like the team that is most likely to break out of that bottom half of the table and break into the play-ins and perhaps even the upper half of the league on their current form. And they're running DPS heavy comps as well, which benefits them if we go into a 2-2 meta. Now, yes, you could say it's looking a bit gloomy for the Gladiators. It's possible for them to go 4-3 or 3-4 in the stage. But the Gladiators have the quality to pull out the clutch wins. I think they're the team most at risk of falling out of the playoffs. And it's difficult to tell. It's difficult to tell because you don't know what might happen in the new meta, which we are expecting to see in Stage 4. But you've just got to go on the difficulty of their fixtures. And it is ridiculously difficult. They've got 2 teams on the up. 2 teams that are up there without a doubt, and 1 team that is just looking really good right now in the Hangzhou Spark. So it's really difficult for the Gladiators. And you look at the games that they've dropped in Stage 3 against the Shanghai Dragons, that could cost them badly. That really could cost them badly. Although They had to play Vancouver twice in Stage 3. And that's just not easy. It's just not easy. But there are some games that the Gladiators might look back at this season and think, damn, lost there. Like in Stage 2 against the upper team. It's a difficult stage for the Gladiators. It is the most difficult stage, I think, out of everyone. So, they're going to have to come up clutch. In terms of their Pacific Division, yes, it's still possible for them to take the number 1 seed, but it's incredibly unlikely. Incredibly unlikely. But the Gladiators are going to have to hit the ground running against the Excelsior in Week 1 of Stage 4. It's a harsh thing to say, but I'm worried. I'm worried for the LA Gladiators. But they have the quality to make it. They've just got to show us some clutch performances in the next stage. And to be quite honest, even if we see the Gladiators in the play-ins, I think the Gladiators in the play-ins, I'd expect them to make it through anyway. But it's looking difficult for the Gladiators right now. That has been, or those have been your win conditions for the LA Gladiators. Oh, it's a harsh stage for them. It's a harsh stage coming up for the Gladiators, but you never know what might happen. Next up will be the Seoul Dynasty, our last team, or our team occupying the last playoff spot right now. It could be an interesting stage for those as well. Could be an interesting stage for that team, and as you can see, it's planning out to be an absolutely blockbuster Stage 4, with so many of the top teams taking on each other. It's gonna be mad. It's gonna be absolutely crazy. I know these videos are shorter. They're kind of like bulletins for these teams. They're never going to be really long videos. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.